Okay, hello. Yes, it seems you are the only one this afternoon. So we had several people this morning. We had Jimmy Alberg from Ericsson. We had Masahiro Daikoku from KDDI. Aline Chapila from Sony. So I will summarize what we discussed in the morning session. So we reviewed what has happened since the previous call. So we had approved the document internally in the working group end of last year, and we wanted to have it officially approved as an OpenChain document, and this should have been done during the steering committee that was planned on March 26th, but that unfortunately did not happen, as the board meetings that preceded the steering committee took too much time, and they had no time to do the steering committee and review the document. Since the next steering committee would be in 3 months in June, I discussed by email with Shane, and we decided to do an offline approval, so not to wait for 3 months. And so Shane sent an email to the steering committee asking whether they have comments or issues with the document. And so if all works well, the document should be approved in April. Also, one thing that was done is to update the document on two topics. I had requests from several participants on 2 points. The first is a version of SPDX. In the document, we required ISO version of SPDX, which is SPDX 2.2. And so the proposal was to allow also 2.3, which is the latest version. The second topic was the format. We had requested tag value as the only format because we thought it was format that is both human readable and machine readable. And there were several requests to add JSON as also a possible format. So I have created two pull requests for that, and on the mailing list I had asked whether there was an opposition on that, and I got none, so I merged two requests just before the steering committee, which did not happen. So the modifications are done in the English version, and Masahiro-san has updated the Japanese translation accordingly. Also, what I did recently is to translate the document into French, so it's now available on the GitHub, and both versions, the Japanese and the French translation, have a foreword that says that in case of difference of interpretation between the English version and the translation, it's the English version that is that has precedence. Okay, so that is what has happened in the last month. We discussed on how to promote, how to advertise the document outside of the group after it is approved. So several things. Jimmy Alberg from Ericsson reminded us of what he already told in the previous meeting. That is, he will have a talk at One Summit North America, which he will be giving a talk on 1st of May on SBOM, and so he will mention our work. Also, ideas that we discussed last month. I will ask Shane if he can propose a slot for having a webinar that would describe the document, the telco guide. So that's something I will ask. So Jimmy Alberg also mentioned a thing. He mentioned that there was some discussion in the security working group. The security working group is asking whether we could do more generic future version of the guide, meaning that we should remove the SPDX requirement from the document to make it more generic. So this means we should explain what a quality SBOM is in terms of what it should contain and why, but not requiring a specific language so that the SBOM could be implemented in other means, including Cyclone DX. Okay, and lastly, we got some news from Japan. As it was mentioned in the call last month, there is a national project in Japan for SBOMs in telecommunication companies. So a report has been produced. So Masahiro-san will translate the Japanese report in English, and we'll share it to the community. So that is what we discussed this morning. So you told me, Jerry, that you are in the train and that you cannot react. So if you have question,
So,
yes.
can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I say, I'm on a train, so and actually in a tunnel. So who knows? Okay, now we just came out from the tunnel. So yeah, the question was like for the steering group review and approval. Are we going to use like the GitHub that request the approvals, or how that's going to be happen in in practice, so that we get kind of proper approvals, or it's just like via the mailing list?
Yes. So Shane sent an email just yesterday, which is addressed to the OpenChain governing board. So I can I can read what he tells. Due to time constraints in the last board meeting, we deferred the steering committee meeting. So we did not have time to check the telco work group document. So he sends a link to the document I have put on GitHub, which is called Objectives, which summarizes the objectives and work done by the group, so that the board has a bit more information on what we did and how we did it. Then Shane says that comments should be requested before April 10th. And if there are, and then he says at this time, if there are no objections by the majority of the steering committee, the document will be provided to the education work group, which has a meeting the same day at 6 p.m. CEST time. The group will review and will prepare for publication as an OpenChain reference document.
Okay, so like in April, basically, if everything goes well, that should be approved.
Yeah, it should be approved.
Yeah.
So April 10.
Yeah.
If everything goes well, so
Yeah.
we don't have to wait for several months before it's done.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are, for instance, planning to propose the document to ORAN, to the Open
Yep.
RAN, and we wanted the document to be officially approved by OpenChain before doing so.
Yep. And are there any ideas like when the, let's say, version 2 should be coming out, like for example to take out the SPDX requirement and make it a bit more generic, what Jimmy was proposing, which I think makes sense, because sooner or later we will have tools that can do changing the formats basically between Cyclone DX and SPDX. I'm sure about that.
Yes, on the technical side, there exist already some converters between SPDX and Cyclone DX. I did some tests. Well, it's not perfect, but it's a starting point. So to answer the question about when we will do a new version, it has not been discussed. What we want to avoid is to do it too quickly. We would like to have some adoption before that in order to research to receive comments from a broader from a broader audience. So well, I don't expect it. Well, I don't know, but. Perhaps we should wait at least 6 months or so. We shouldn't do, in my opinion, revisions too quickly. But well, on the other side, we could we if we want to have a document that does not mandate SPDX, perhaps we could do a separate document. I don't know, but this can be discussed in the next calls.
Yeah, but I think there are like a couple of things because the whole SBOM field is still quite rapidly changing, so that might push that a new version has to become sooner. But yeah, my thinking was that okay, maybe 6-12 months for the next revision would be a good timeline. But I don't know if there's some requirement from NIST or who knows from where from EU coming before, then I think we need to be able to react to that as well.
Yeah, and well, we hope that SPX 3 will be out soon, and so that might also have an impact.
Yeah, I think the SPDX3 has been, it was supposed to be out 6 months ago or even, longer time ago, but yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
it will finally come out.
yes, they have issued the RC2, so it's stabilizing now, but well, first they will have to freeze it by the SPDX team, and then they plan to move it to ISO, and well, that will also take some time.
Yeah, and it's a big revision. It's not like from 2.2 to 2.3 because it's 3.0 basically now. So
Yeah, it's much bigger, but also it's more modular. So well,
yeah.
we'll need some time until it is implemented by tools.
Oh yeah. And still, I think some of the tools are just doing 2.2, and I think many are doing the SPDX 2.3. But well,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
few months ago, and there were some tools they were not yet even updated to 2.3.
yes, yes. Now there are several tools that
Yeah,
output 2.3, but it's not all.
yeah.
Okay.
And like the translations, like the Japanese and French, are those going to be, let's say, approved as well, or is it just the English and those ones are like just nice to have?
Yes, I think it's only the English version that will be approved, because the steering committee probably has no knowledge of Japanese, so or even French, so they cannot guarantee the exactitude of the translation. But as I said, both in the English and French versions, there is a sentence at the beginning saying that in case of difference or different interpretations, it is the English version that has precedence. So I think that's enough.
Yes. Okay. Well, there was quite a lot of things happening last month, so I think we are moving.
So I will share my notes in the mailing list. Thank you for joining.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Ciao ciao.